How's it going, everyone? Chris here, and welcome back to another Super Smash Bros. Ultimate DLC leak discussion video. In today's video, we are actually going to be taking a look at something extremely interesting that comes from the most credible leaker in the Smash Ultimate community, being Sabi. Sabi goes ahead and talks a little bit about the 5th DLC fighter, who it's not going to be, and about the Mii hat costume leaks. So yeah guys, there's a lot of information to talk about in today's video. However guys, as always, and I cannot stress this enough, just because this information does come directly from Sabi, who I believe to be the most credible Super Smash Bros. Ultimate leaker, that does not mean that all the information that they shared today is going to be 100% accurate, so make sure you guys take this with a grain of salt and realize that I'm talking about this just for fun. If you guys would like to read along while I talk, you can find the link to everything that we are going to be talking about in today's video in the description bar down below. And now, with all of that out of the way, I have to tell you guys where this information came from. So guys, this information was sent in to me by one of my subscribers on my Discord server. So if you guys haven't already joined up, you can find the link to my Discord as well as links to all of my social media presences, such as my Twitter, Twitch, and Patreon in the description bar down below, as well as the pinned comment. And now guys, with all of that out of the way, like I said, this comes directly from Sabi, who is the most credible Super Smash Bros. Ultimate leaker, so let's just go ahead and see what they have to say, shall we? So guys, like I said, all this information comes directly from Sabi, who is the most credible Super Smash Bros. Ultimate leaker, so if you guys haven't already followed Sabi on Twitter, I highly recommend you guys go ahead and do that. You can find a link to their Twitter in both the description as well as the pinned comment. Also guys, while you are on Twitter, make sure you guys go ahead and follow me as well, because once we hit 1,000 followers, we are going to be going ahead and doing a giveaway on Twitter, so yeah, just make sure to follow both of us. And now guys, with that out of the way, Sabi goes ahead and says, to clarify some misunderstandings about Smash. Hardly anybody in the industry seems to know the next character right now. Only one source I have heard a name but doesn't want it shared right now. Vergiben similarly hasn't been given a name yet from what I've heard. Also, Crash and Ryu are explicitly not the name they heard for Fighter 5. Seemingly same with Doomguy and Geno. Can't outright deconfirm the Mii leak for the Doom enemy and Mallow, just know that it's not related to who he heard is fighter number 5. So now that we've gone ahead and talked about what Sabi said, we need to talk about this and dive in a little deeper. So guys, the first thing that I want to go ahead and say is that Sabi is confirming that they have multiple sources. Now obviously, this is something that I think I have known for a very long time, because I always knew that Vergiben had multiple sources, and one of the things that's important to know about multiple sources is that only one of Sabi's sources has actually heard a name of the next Super Smash Bros. Ultimate fighter. So here's the thing guys, I think this is why Sabi as well as the leaker are worried. Now for those of you guys who weren't already aware, Nintendo as well as some of the partner companies have been doing this thing where they will give different names of characters to different employees, so that way they can trace it back to figure out who has been leaking all these new characters, because obviously they think that the leaks are a very big deal, because they don't want people knowing about which characters are going to end up making it in before they are actually officially announced. So it does make sense that, like, because Sabi's only heard it from one of their sources, that they don't want to go ahead and disclose it quite yet, because if that does end up being fake, or if it ends up being real, they can still track it back to this person, because obviously it seems as though only the higher ups at Nintendo already have access to this information, so it definitely makes sense as to why they don't want to share the name of the character quite yet. So obviously guys, at this point, we know for a fact that Sabi knows who the 5th and final DLC character is going to be on the first Fighter's Pass. Now, one of the things that has always been really strange to me is that although Sabi has been telling us that, like, he knows who it's going to be and that they are going to be announced at the Game Awards coming up really soon, Sabi hasn't been able to give us a name. However, Sabi has been able to deconfirm a total of 4 fighters, and including Vergiben, if you guys still take his word as like he's still a credible leaker, we have a total of 5 characters that are deconfirmed. Those characters being Crash Bandicoot, Ryu Hayabusa, Doomguy, Geno, and Scorpion from Mortal Kombat. Now, I think that it's really strange that like these characters were deconfirmed by Sabi and Sabi won't come forward and tell us, because honestly, I'm sure that there are other sources of Sabis and Verg events that have probably been getting fed information like Crash Bandicoot's going to be the 5th DLC fighter or Ryu's going to be the 5th DLC fighter, because those are just the rumors that have been around for a very long time. Now, obviously, before the Mii costume leak came out, Crash Bandicoot and Ryu Hayabusa were two of the most talked about characters. Everybody and their mother thought that either Crash Bandicoot or Ryu Hayabusa was going to end up being the 5th and final DLC fighter. However, they were deconfirmed by Sabi. Then we had the Mii costume leak which came out, and we thought that it was either going to end up being Doomguy or Geno, because obviously, like if there's a Doom Mii in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, it would make a ton of sense if we ended up getting Doomguy as a playable character. And also, considering we got a Mallow Mii in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, it would also make a ton of sense if Geno ended up being a playable character, because obviously we did not see his Mii costume. So the fact that we know that these characters are now all deconfirmed just makes us wonder who the final character could end up being. Now, the final thing that I want to go ahead and talk about in terms of this tweet is that Sabi did not go ahead and publicly deconfirm the Mii costume leak which recently came out, which had the enemy from Doom as well as the Mallow Mii costume. Now, there has been a ton of debate over whether or not this leak could end up being real or not, because obviously it was a video leak. We actually saw like all of these Mii costumes fighting, and then there were images and stuff like that, and so a lot of people really believed that it was going to end up being real. However, then a bunch of modders came out and they started making Mii costume mods, and then people started losing a little faith in it, so it's definitely pretty strange to say the least. Now, it definitely would be weird for us, at least in my opinion, to get a Doom Mii costume as well as a Super Mario RPG costume without getting either one of those characters in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate as a DLC fighter. Like, I guess it is possible, but honestly, if we are going to get a Doom Mii costume, I would prefer if we got Doomguy, and if we're going to get a Super Mario RPG Mii costume, hopefully that means that Geno will come along as well. And now, even though Sabi did not go ahead and tell us who the final character on the first Fighter's Pass was going to end up being, let's go ahead and do a little bit of speculation, because honestly guys, at this point, there are two characters that I can really see making the cut. First of all guys, I think that Lloyd Irving actually has a very strong chance of making it into the game. Now, the reason that I say that Lloyd Irving could make it as the last DLC fighter is because for those of you guys who didn't already know, obviously, Nintendo were the people who were making the decisions on which characters to include on the first Fighter's Pass, and obviously, the Tales of franchise is extremely popular over in Japan, and Lloyd Irving is their #1 most requested character, so yeah, I could definitely see them adding him in for that reason. Also guys, if they wanted to, they could definitely make another Tales of game and then release it over here in the West, so that way it would have a very similar effect to what happened with Dragon Quest XI Definitive Edition with the hero. So yeah, Lloyd Irving definitely has a strong chance of making it into the game, and honestly, he would be a pretty cool final reveal. However guys, the other character that I believe has a very strong chance as well is actually Sora from Kingdom Hearts. Now honestly, at this point in time, I definitely do believe that Lloyd Irving has a little bit stronger of a chance, at least to make it in as the 5th DLC fighter, and I think that Sora will probably end up making it in as like future DLC, because I think that there is still a lot of discussion that's happening between Nintendo and like Disney and Square Enix, because for those of you guys who didn't already know, there is like a ton of hoops that Nintendo has to jump through to get Sora in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. First of all, Disney needs to see that there is a demand from the fans, which obviously they already have. We all want to see Sora in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Then they need to get the permission of the person who created Kingdom Hearts as well as Sora. And then after all of that is done, they aren't allowed to bring along like Donald Duck or Goofy or Mickey Mouse or any other Disney character. So yeah, as long as Sakurai like agrees to all those terms, they can definitely get Sora in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and I think that Sora has a chance of being the 5th DLC fighter. However, at this point, I'm just leaning towards him joining a little bit later. However, guys, make sure you guys let me know your thoughts about everything that Sabi said in the comment section down below. Who do you guys think is the character that is going to be announced at the Game Awards this year? And do you guys think that we are going to get more than one fighter announced? Why or why not? Thank you guys all so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe, share, and like, and I will see you guys next time. Take care.